Okay. Good morning, everyone. This is Pradeep, Ambassador of Change from GETI, Global Education and Training Institute. And we are on this format of disruptive education given to us by our mentor, Dr. Sunita Gandhi. It's an excellent format where we have interacted with more than 450 educators from India and all over the world. And today we have for you uh, Rashmee Bhatia ji she's the principal of the Jingle Bells Academy in Faizabad, Uttar Pradesh. She is self-directed, enthusiastic, and an educator with a passionate commitment to student development and the learning experience. She's done a BCom honors and an MA in history, and she's a BEd. She has 20 years of experience and 4 years as vice principal and principal. She has worked with the British Council on the International School Award and has organized student festivals for the Youth Global Citizens Club. Welcome, ma'am. And she will be speaking on parenting and social connection, the aftergrowth of the pandemic. Thank you, ma'am, for being with us. And over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Just a small rectification. I'm the principal of JBA Academy. Jingle Bell happens to be my sister concern. Good morning, everyone. Last 8 months have been really very stressful for all of us. We have been tested in each and every possible way. But if we look at it in a positive way, the COVID situation, the pandemic situation has given us time to reflect, self-reflect rather, and think what kind of a lifestyle we were living in and what are the changes that we need to make. Personally, if as a parent you ask me, I have thought of this period as a period where I need to bring about a change in myself as a parent. But before we talk about that, let us identify what are the flaws that the COVID situation has exposed. It is related to our social system. It is related to our education system, our parenting system, and definitely our interpersonal connections and value systems. There is a sense of fear amongst all of us, and especially parents, because we tend to be overprotective at times. There is rise in depression. Our health conditions have deteriorated because physical activities have declined. We are overworked, we are stressed because everything is new for us in a way, whether it be working from home, students attending classes from home, and it has made us realize many things. So, if I take this period as a learning period, what are the important things that as parents we should understand and we should work upon? That is what I would like to touch upon today. We talk of values, isn't it? Values do not mean just greeting or touching the feet of our elders or being doing puja or something like that. But values over here also means it's a new definition in terms of valuing time, valuing people, valuing the moment, that is this moment, the present times in which we are living, valuing relationships. Because somewhere down the line, we had become very materialistic, and everything was like related to the wealth that we had accumulated. We had become more or less like machines, if I go on to see. What is it that we should do now in these circumstances? Because the circumstances are likely to stay here. As of now, there is no cure, nothing to do. So, as parents, what can we do? First of all, let's openly talk about the pandemic. Let us openly talk about Corona. Let us not fear it. Let us be willing to talk with the children, keeping their age levels in mind. It is okay to say that I don't know an answer to a question. Maybe you and I, that is the child, and you as a parent, can look for the potential answers. Let us realize that somewhere down the line, the fear that we are facing, we are passing it on to our children. It's not that we are not empathetic, but here we need to be all the more empathetic. We as adults need to try and put ourselves in the places of our children and understand that what is it that uh, people are facing, what is it that people are going through. If people are suffering from this disease, what should our outlook be towards them? How should we deal with them? That is what we need to work upon. Let us look for stories of people who have worked miraculously to save other people. They have brought about taken initiatives to bring about small changes in and around the situation. The corona warriors, as we would call them, isn't it? Some were driven to take up charge of the situation, and some out of their free will they came about. Education sector, if we say, though we have not been called as corona warriors, but somewhere down the line we have been corona warriors in a way that in the entire pandemic we have seen to it that we can reach out to every children in whatever possible way we can. So here as parents, let us openly talk about this situation. Honesty and openness always and always counts. Closing of the schools, let us take it as an opportunity. We are worried about our finances, we are worried about working from home. Many of us have lost our jobs. As parents, let us keep ourselves self motivated. Let's not be frustrated, because somewhere down the line, the frustration is passed over to the children, and the children don't know how to react. They are younger than us, so they don't understand the situation so well as we understand. So let us relate to this situation in a positive manner. Let us think of it as that we have got a break, and we can spend more time with our children, because in our working life somewhere down the line, at times children do get neglected, not always, but once in a while they do get neglected by us, and we feel that whatever we are doing it for their good. But for once, let us stop thinking of it not in terms of being materialistic, but let us think of things that we can give them, which cannot be bought in the market. Happiness, for example, a smile on a child's face, spending 10 minutes with him playing the game that he or she is playing, isn't it? Planning your day together. Let's decide what we are going to do today. So let us think of this as an opportunity to gel better with our children over here. Something else that I would really like to talk about, and I really would like to pass on my experience with you, is that let us learn a little bit more about technology. Our children are online, they are attending online classes. Just having a phone and being on Facebook or Insta or being on WhatsApp was quite different. But now their entire schooling is taking place through this online forum. So let us realize and understand that we also need to know the technology well so that we can protect our children. Let us not, right now, mobile has become a part of our life. Laptops and mobiles, if you go on to see wherever we go, even if you are in the kitchen, the mobile phone is there with us, and it is like inseparable from us. Means in which we can create device free spaces, device free times in our houses, where we can go to the traditional methods, where, in the evenings, the entire family would sit together, you would converse, you could have a meal together, you could share, you could laugh. Let us look at those traditional setups and let us bring it back in our day to day life. Let us also be online. Let us look for apps. Let us go for sites. Let us explore websites. Let us play games together. Let us look at apps together. You might learn something new from your child, and you will also get to know what exactly your child is surfing, or what exactly his interests are. And somewhere down the line, this will give you a forum for the child to vent out his feelings if he is being cyber bullied. There are people out there. If we have the good part in the society, we also have the not so good elements in the society. So it is our responsibility as parents to help our children understand what lies outside and how they can deal with this situation. Uh, we need to teach our children to balance between our wants and our needs. It is very, very essential. Uh, we try to give them all the comforts in life, but sometimes we give them so much that when failure strikes, they are unable to deal with the situation. So, right now, many of us are going through financial issues. This is the right time to tell them, okay, we cannot afford this at this point of time because something else is more important. You need to make them realize and understand rather than just saying a yes or a no. No, you don't do this, or yes, you can do that. Either we are too strict or we are too lenient. So, what we need to do is we need to adopt a parenting style where we are firm as per the needs of the situation. As per the needs of the situations, we are friendly also with our children, so that if they have any issues, if they have any problems, they don't say that, oh, my parents are not going to understand me. Rather, they realize that, yes, my parents are the ones whom I can approach easily, and they can relate to what I am saying. You will agree with me that our timetables, our routines have changed now, drastically changed. We are online for long periods of time. At times we feel we have a lot of work to do, at times we feel we have nothing to do. uh, Late nights in terms of working are going on over there. So let us reinvent our timetable. Let us sit together with our children and decide that, yes, this part of the day is dedicated to your studies, this part of the day is dedicated to my work, but this part of the day, we are going to be together and we are going to do certain activities and enrich your children with memories. Memories last long. Memories help you to sail through difficult periods. Let us teach them to see positivity out of every situation. You know, uh, we human nature is such that we always first look at the negative aspect. The pandemic may have had many negative aspects, but let us see from here what is it that we can take it positively, we can take it ahead with us, and what are the little changes that can be brought about in our lifestyles, in our children's lifestyles, isn't it? And it can have a long term impact on them. Also, we need to teach our children to live in the present. The present is the most important. What has happened. What we need to learn from our past is we do not repeat those mistakes, but let us not be so speculative about the future also, that this entire moment that we are living now gets wasted, gets spoiled. We need to teach our children to aspire, but it should be their dreams. We shouldn't force ourselves, or we should rather not impose ourselves on our children that you do this because I want you to do it. No, ask him or her whether he or she really needs to do it. For children who are there in the colleges who are going to pass out this year, they might have crisis in terms of getting a job. Here we, as parents, as adults, we need to come out and we need to speak to them. We need to make them realize and understand that maybe you have an engineering degree and there is no job for you, but there might be something else. Might be you are a good writer, you had that passion for writing. So in this immediate period, maybe you can begin writing, and you can write articles for newspaper. You can sustain yourself also, and you can live your other dreams also. And maybe with the right time coming in, you might get a good job also. These are the things which are going to last. There is not going to be an immediate end to anything, nor you and I have a magic wand in our hands that we are just going to turn the situation. It will take time to normalize, isn't it? So there is a feeling of uneasiness in us also. So imagine the children might also be feeling uneasy. So let us think of new ways to do away with that uneasiness. Let us talk about building values in our day to day life. Children are very good observants. They observe every little thing that you and I do, and they try to emulate that in their lives. So, our behavior, we might be stressed out instead of shouting and screaming at homes. Let us see how peacefully we can convey to them what we want to convey to them. We might be working. There might be a small child who's constantly nagging you, and we might shout and scream and say, "Don't do that." But the moment we say don't do that, that is an opportunity for the child to do it even more. So you look for some way to distract the child so that he may be engaged or she may be engaged, and you might continue with the work that you are doing. Here, as an educator, uh, online education has its pros also and it has its cons also. You know And if you go on to see in the near future, it is going to be blended learning. Even if physically students are permitted to come to school, this methodology of teaching is going to continue for some time. So let us also teach our children how to take good care of their eyes. Let us be aware of the blue light synonym that is there, factor that comes out from the mobile phones and that comes out from the laptop. And maybe we can teach them that 1 hour before you go to sleep, it's not only for the children, it can be followed by us adults also, that we just switch off our phones and we try to go to sleep peacefully, because mobile phones has a lot of negative impact on our sleep patterns. It has had a lot of impact on our health also. It's not that it was not earlier, but now it is being highlighted all the more. Children were there with mobile phones all the time. We just would scold them that you are there, but now they are the mobile phones and the laptops. They've been overexposed to these things. So let us try and see that we stay away from that. Maybe reading out stories. Maybe you could narrate some stories that you had heard when you were young by your grandparents, or if you have grandparents at home, the children could be allowed to interact with them and they can hear stories from there. So, what I'm trying to say here is that, what personally, if you ask me, what I have learned from this pandemic is that somewhere, we need to ponder over the traditional ways of our living. Our ancestors had very less, but they had a very, very happy life. In this present times, can we reinvent ourselves and strike a balance between the lifestyle that we were living before the pandemic and the lifestyle, the changes that we can bring about in our lifestyle, and we can sustain ourselves for longer, so that if another pandemic comes in one way or the other, we are at least well equipped. You will agree that we were not mentally neither physically prepared for this COVID situation. We never ever had dreamt or thought that something like this could ever affect us. We had never thought that we are going to be locked in our homes for so many months, and to the extent that we can't even go out for a walk. Initially, there were those kinds of days also. So, we need to have a discussion over the situation with our children also and realize and understand that somewhere we are responsible for it. The kind of lifestyle that we have been living, we are that is responsible over here. So we need to work on it together. You and I together, we need to work on it if we want to sustain longer. Let us not demotivate, demoralize our children. Even negative aspects can be said positively. We need to work upon our vocabulary to see what are the positive ways in which we can address our children. Because our children too are, again and again, I'm stressing on this point, our children too are affected by this situation in terms of physically, they are not allowed to go out and play. Online classes are hampering their health somewhere or down the line. They are not, they don't know how to keep themselves engaged without the mobile phones. So here we need to really communicating, talking, um, playing games, and this all can be effective in order to see that the child is a happy one. If we do not bring about these changes right now, there is a possibility that within the next few months, already the depression cases are increasing, but it might have a very negative impact on our children. So, as parents, we need to reinvent our parenting style. We need to ask ourselves what is it that we can do differently so that the active children, in schools we have active children, they don't have a scope right now. The ones who are complacent, they have become even more complacent. So where exactly do we strike a balance? And nobody can do that better than the parents, because we know our children, we know the pulse of our children, what is it that they can do well, what is it that they cannot do well. So if you see, if I have to sum up, I would like to say it's health which is important. Not only physical health, but mental health also is very, very important at this point of time. You need to understand that there is a fear of unknown, but it is in the present. And we have to learn to deal with it. We cannot escape from it. Let us not uh, give any myths, or let us not give any false information to our children when it comes to the disease. Let us say that yes, it is here, it is likely to stay for a short period of time. Masks are important. Building physical immunity is very, very important. Mental health is very, very important at this point of time, and it is all these little things that is going to help us to come out of the situation. Values, as I again said right in the beginning, values are very, very important. Let us work on valuing everything that we have in and around us. Let us practice it. It just doesn't come by saying. Let us practice it. Let us make it a part of our day to day life. And let us not have different sets of rules for them and for ourselves. If we are working from home and we are there the whole day with the children, let us try to see that the rules that we have made for our children, rather, the rules should be made together. The child and I can sit together and make the rules, and both of us follow it. And if we are not following it, let us not have drastic measures for it, but let the child only decide the consequence, that if I am not going to do this, this is what is going to happen. And the consequences should be realistic ones. For example, you'll say, I'm going to take away your mobile phone from you and I'm never going to give it to you. That's not going to happen. The next day in the morning, when the child has to attend classes, you are going to give him the mobile phone, isn't it? So let the consequences be realistic consequences, and the child also understands and realizes that What I have been deprived of is because I failed to do something. It's not that failing is wrong, failing is bad. Failures are required in life, isn't it? And but along with it, let us see that we cannot have everything that we want. Whatever we wish to cannot happen every time we want it to happen. Let us give comforts to the child where it is important and where not. Let us learn to draw a line. It is very, very essential in these times. Budgeting, if in small ways we can include our children, they will understand and they'll realize the value of money. They will also realize how hard you work to give them the kind of lifestyle that they are living. So you can take their inputs also. Which are the places, if you can identify where we are spending a lot of money, and you can take in their suggestions as to how we can curtail spending of money in that particular area, you will see that your children have wonderful ways and means. They really think of things out of the box. We just need to give them an opportunity to openly come out and speak to us as parents. Again and again, I'm stressing parents, yes, you are having a difficult time in terms of dealing with the finances of your house, but that this might be just a short period. We will come out of it. I'm positive of that. We will definitely together as a human community come out of it soon. But let us think over things which somehow we had missed out in the bargain, in the long run, that the kind of life that we were living before COVID-19 situation. Let us see how we can rework it, reinvent it. There is no hard and fast rules over here. It is going to differ from family to family, you know, uh, region to region. But there are certain norms, certain methods of parenting which were adopted by our elders, which really now need to be revisited and applied in our day to day situations. That is what I have learned from this entire situation as a mother. Uh, what is important is parenting is all about being right, but also if we are wrong, to accept our mistakes. Let us say a sorry to a child. It's not a big deal. And let us work towards making our children emotionally healthy and physically healthy. It's with these words I would like to hand over the floor to Mr. Pradeep if there are any questions.
Thank you, ma'am, for your very valuable advice, pragmatic advice. Ma'am, you as the principal, how are you
Yes.
going to deal or how are you dealing with students coming off and on, not coming at all to the school? These various aspects of the students, just suppose
Yeah.
there are 50 students in a class. Maybe
Yes.
10 come in today, 10 come in tomorrow, 10
Yes.
don't show up at all. How are you dealing with it, ma'am?
So, frankly speaking, most of the children want to come to school. It is the parents who are afraid that if the child might go to the school, he or she is going to be infected with corona. So, it's along with the children, dealing with the parents also psychologically is very, very important. And here you are not left with any other option but to allow them to come the way they are coming. But yes, I try to see that when they come here, it really is very, very fruitful for them, not in terms of studying academically, but non academically, how they can enrich themselves and what they are missing at homes. I try to see that they get that in the school. Even the teachers are working hard towards that. But as far as the numbers are concerned, uh, you have to take it in your stride, sir. You have to take it in your stride.
True, true. That is there. And what about syllabuses, ma'am? As such, I think you already cut down the syllabus. Now, how much of this particular syllabus have you been able to implement?
See, sir, in the lower classes, we have the flexibility. So we have revisited the syllabus and we have seen what is essential for the next year. In, for a sixth grader, when he goes to seventh standard, what is important, that part of that connectivity is continued. So we work the syllabus like that for the smaller classes. And as far as where you have the bindings from the boards, you cannot do anything about it, isn't it? So there we are time bound and we have to ensure that the syllabus is done. So we are finding ways and means, inventing ourselves, learning from traditional methods of learning to see what can be done online in synchronous class, what can be done offline, what can be done in the physical class. So that is how, where syllabus adherence timings are concerned, we are working in that manner.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Once again, we express our gratitude to Dr. Sunita Gandhi for this excellent format where you meet people, brilliant people like Rashmee Bhatia, ma'am. And thank you, Rashmee Bhatia, ma'am, for having talked to us or being with us today. And all the very best to you in your parenting and your teaching, both of which a teacher is. So, and goodbye for today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to get connected with GETI. And I'm not an expert, but whatever I have said from my heart, which I felt as a mother during this period. And I would definitely like to thank you and appreciate the entire process that you are heading right now. Something like this is really, really required. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for being with us. Thank you.
Thank you.